We may not have a full class today, but nevertheless, we're here, and that is what is most important. So without much further ado, I'd like to hand you over to Pandit Arun Gossai ji.
Prem se bolo Shri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Special belated Shivratri greetings to all of you. I hope your Shivratri was as good as ours was. Yes. Spending the entire night in memory of who? Bhagwan Shankar. And as we know, who is the narrator of the Ramayana? Bhagwan Shankar. And who is he telling the Ramayana to? All people. You see, from his conversations come every single conversation, come every single idea, and comes everything from the Ramayana through Lord Shiva's own beautiful lips. You see? So actually, when one thinks of what Ramcharitmanas means, Rama means the Lord, isn't that true? Charit means the place or the acts of Sri Ram, isn't that right? Manasa means mind or lake. But if you think of Manas, who is the person or who is the entity that has conceived the whole Ramcharitmanas thing? Where is everything happening in this world? In God's own mind. This is what you call universal consciousness. Everything happens because of the Lord's whims and fancies. Everything from creation to preservation to destruction happens because of that Lord. The whole Ramayana is just one episode in the whole journey of man's life here on earth. So it is recorded by Lord Shiva, actually narrated by Lord Shiva, recorded by Tulasi Das ji, because someone had to be the note takers in that. When you have a meeting, somebody has to take minutes in that, right? So Lord Shiva himself spoke, he dictated the glories of Ram, and our dear revered Sant Tulsi Das ji penned it in his very beautiful Ram. So before we begin, I will not do the invocational prayers. I will have all of you do today. And also the Ramayana Sumiran. Both you will be done by you tonight, okay? So with a loud, unified voice, all of you will join together. All I will do for you is give you the key, the pitch, and the rest is yours, okay? 1, 2, 3. Very good. Next. Ramayana Sumiran. Bole Shri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Rajji, what was the last chaupai you did in this class? Anybody can help Raj? Last chaupai that was covered in this class by Pandit Ganesh. Yeah, anybody? Raj? Tell me the chaupai.
He died.
He
died. So few. He died. So few some job and Jakarani.
That was the first chaupai. Now what's the chaupai after that? Okay, don't worry about the chaupai. Tell me the scenario of what's going on. Can anybody volunteer and tell me just the scenario of what is going on at this present moment in the Ramayana Studies? First of all, you have to tell me what kand it is. Tell me what prasanga. Prasanga means what conversation is it? Who are the two people involved? And tell me what is going on. Anybody want to volunteer before I call?
Faith and trust.
Yes, okay. But tell me what section of the Ramayana we're in? Bhagavata. So let's all answer together. What section are we dealing with right now? Bhagavata. What prasanga or what conversation or what happening between two people is going on? Who are the two people involved? First Sati. You see? That's the trick. Parvati Ma is Sati's next incarnation. You see? Both are forms of who? Mother Durga. Yeah? But Sati was the first incarnation married to Lord Shiva. Now tell me what is going on between Lord Shiva and Sati. Raj, tell me. Up till now.
Well,
Raj, you have to review, okay? See, everybody here, you're here to study, right? So when we teach a class here, you have to take home the material and then chew on it. Not literally chew on it with your mouth. But in your mind, you just go it over. Raj, when you're in the bus in the morning or in your dad's car, think about what you did at Ramayana study. Similarly for all our older brothers and sisters here, you must be in the train and think about what we did the week before, right? If you don't understand the Sanskrit words, that's fine. If you don't understand the Awadhi words, that's okay. But understand what is going on, right? So let me get you up to speed. So Sati and Lord Shiva were having a beautiful conversation one day, right? Beautiful, like every husband and wife. Lord Shiva was telling him the greatness of who? Shri Ram. And then in one of the chapais, we saw that Sati, being a woman, is not my words. Tulsidas, she wrote this in the Ramayana. But what that means is women have a very inquisitive nature. Nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, everyone should have this about them. No one should take things for face value. But you see, when you go home, right, and you're confronted with wife or mother, what is the first thing they ask? Where were you? What did you do today? Right? What went on in your day? Does father ever ask those questions? Some of them do, but most of them busy watch cricket in the front. You see? But mother is always inquiring. Therefore, in her conversation with Bhagwan Shankar, she basically had a doubt about Sri Ram. And as we all know, this is the play of mother. She is showing us an example of how not to be. In life, write this down. There are two ways to show the example. First and foremost, we should show the example of how to be by our own actions as human beings in this world. Okay? Two ways to show an example. First, show an example through your actions as a human being. Second, see a way not to be by someone who doesn't know as much as you do. See the way that you should not be due to a person's lack of judgment. You know what they say? Someone who is smart learns from his mistakes. Okay? Right? Someone who is smart learns from his mistake. But you know who is a wise person? Someone who learns from the mistakes of others. You understand that? Everyone understand what I just said? Yes. A smart person learns from his own mistake, right? You do something wrong, you learn. But you know what a wise person does? He learns from another person's mistake. Now, Bhagavan being Bhagavan, Bhagavan being God, God being all merciful, all kind, and being the protector of every single human being, what do you think he wants us to do? Does he want us to be smart or does he want us to be wise? Which one? Wise. He wants us to be wise. Bhagavan Shankar, Durgeshwari Mata also, being the universal parents, they do not want their children ever to make a mistake. Think about your children, the ones who have children here. Do you ever want to see your children err in life? No. You would rather do the error first, isn't that true? And then let them see and learn, isn't that right? Who do you think Durga Ma is? Not the Jagat Mata? Who do you think Lord Shiva is? Jagat Pita. So they're the mother and father of the entire cosmos. Therefore, they show us both how to live and how not to live at the same time. Both are considered lessons in our life. You see? So Sati, having doubts, she went down to earth to test Shri Ram. How did she test him? She appeared in the form of who? Sita Mata. As a result, Shri Ram knew who she was right away. Because he is what? Antaryami. He knows the ins and outs of everyone's mind. You cannot fool Shri Ram. Right? So as a result, Durga Ma or Sati, she was confused. And then what did she see all over her? She saw Ram, she saw Lakshman, she saw Narayan, she saw Lakshmi in different spheres. All over, she saw the Lord. You see that? After returning to Lord Shiva, what did she do? She lied. Okay? She said, my Lord, I carried no such test. My faith was in your words. And as a matter of fact, all I did was exactly what you would have done. I did my pranam and I went away. But we all know, reading the Ramayana, that was not the case, wasn't it? You see? In my previous class, my dear brothers and sisters, and what we go subsequently, what we see here is, let's reflect again. Sati means or is symbolic of the mind. Shiva is Guru and Shastra. Sri Ram is the knowledge of the Supreme Self or knowledge of God. What the mind tends to do, my dear brothers and sisters, is put what we've learned to test in the wrong way. The scriptures tell us one thing, that everything in this world is false, everything in this world is not worth hankering over. But what do we do as human beings with a human mind? We end up going for the things that we think will make us happy. And you know what ends up happening 99.9999% of the time? We do not find happiness in those objects at all. And then what happens to us? We go back to the same Shastra. We go back to the same Guru who taught us. And we plead for forgiveness. But you know, my dear brothers and sisters, sometimes it is hard to forgive, especially a student or a son or a daughter that has deceived a parent, guru, or husband. And it can be vice versa. Wife can be deceived also, husband can be deceived. It goes either way. So what did we see here? Satihi samocha dani vrisha ketu kahi katha sundar sukha hetu. As a matter of fact, Lord Shiva, being all compassionate, what did he do? He actually, we're looking at the chaupai that starts with Sati. You see it? 47 here, we'll say. Satihi, you see? I'm just reviewing what the information is. So, Satihi's saso chajani vrishaketu kahi katha sundar sukha hetu. Lord Shiva being ultimate compassionate. What do you think he forgot for some time? The promise that he made. Wasn't that true? Does anybody remember the promise Lord Shiva made? Raj, can you tell me the promise Lord Shiva made to himself? After this whole incident happened?
That he will not touch Fatima.
That he will not love Satima as a wife. Okay? What is this symbolic of? At this point, it may seem like husband and wife. But this is really symbolic of Guru and Shishya. When the Shishya goes wayward, the Guru cannot accept that Shishya again, like the way he did in the beginning, when trust was full. You see, my dear brothers and sisters, this trust word is a very serious thing. It just takes one instance for the trust that you have in someone to be annihilated. One instance alone. Think of the last time someone deceived you, and we all have been deceived in this world. Whether it be by a telemarketer, whether it be by a child, whoever, your best friend. When that person deceived you, how did you feel? Huh? You felt betrayed. And as a matter of fact, you couldn't trust that person again. Some people in Guyanese language just said, may wash my hand clean. Or may ring the ace. Next time, I am not going to fall for the gimmicks or the shenanigans of that person. Bhagwan Shankar was in the same seat. He said, how can I love Sati as wife, as my wife? And then he made the vow that he will not, as a matter of fact, by any means, show her the same love as he did before. It takes a lot to build trust, my dear brothers and sisters. But it takes one moment to destroy that trust. As a matter of fact, we spend our entire life building trust. Isn't that true? Children grow up until age 55. And then it takes one instance, one miscalculation, or one lapse in judgment for the trust to be broken. And then what do mother and father do? They still love them, but they don't trust them. As a matter of fact, they will try their utmost best to follow or track that person wherever he goes to make sure. I know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Satihi sasoch jani vrishaketu kahi katha sundar suketu. What did Lord Shiva do anyway one day? He allowed Parvati Ma to come sit by him and he continued to narrate what? What is Lord Shiva's favorite thing to do? Narrate the stories of Shri Ram. Now in this chaupai, look at the chaupai that says Taha. You have that one?
Yes.
Correct. Now let's do this again. Okay, I know you covered it, but let's do it. Taha puni shambhu samuji pana apan. Taha puni shambhu samuji pana apan. While he was telling Parvati these stories, what do you think crept back into his head, Raj? His vow crept back into his head. And this happens in our life, isn't that true? The person that you did not trust because he deceived you. Sometimes, you know what? They'll come back into your life and be little buddy with you, thinking they can gain back the same status as they had last time. But this is how friendship is. And sometimes the person has to know where to draw the line. He remembered right away the vow he made to the Lord. He said, I will not love Sati like I did before. Baite bata tar kari kamal asan. And then what did he do? He sat under his favorite spot again, the banyan tree. Shankar sahaja sarupu samahara. And then what did he do as a result of remembering his vow? He became very silent. He became very introvert. He took a step back. In life, when someone deceives you one time, you must take a step back from that person. In English language, it is called keeping that person at arm's length. You see, we cannot accept the people who do us wrong so quickly. As a matter of fact, they must feel the way that we felt when we were deceived, tricked, or hurt. Forgiveness is a good thing. I'm not saying not to forgive, but one should never forget what someone did to him. You must forgive, but you should never forget, because you know if you forget, you are setting yourself up for another episode of sadness in your life. You see? Shankara Sahaja Sarupa Samhara Lagi Samadhi Akhanda Apara. And then what did he do? He went into a state called Samadhi. In Sanskrit, this word is called Samyak Adhyate Iti Samadhi. Samadhi means total concentration. It's like when you have a nice plate of food, right? You come home, you work hard all day, you skip lunch hour, and then you get a nice plate dal and rice for dinner, right? No matter who attacked you, where are you attention then? The world will be falling down. The storm, Armageddon can happen. But where is your attention? On your food, isn't that true? This is a form of samadhi, according to Sanskrit. But you have to look at the implied meaning here. Samadhi akhanda para means he was focusing on the Lord within him. When we go into meditation, my dear brothers and sisters, what are we trying to do? When the world seems to be your enemy, when nothing seems right, what should we do in life? Should we fight back with the world?
No.
The lesson here is to keep them at arm's length, but at the same time, go inward now and find true peace and happiness by yourself. You know, when I was working as an accountant, it was very difficult some days. And you know what I used to do sometimes? I used to shut my office door and just sit there by myself and meditate. And you know, after 5 minutes, how I felt? I felt like I can take on another 10 set of problems. You see? Sometimes we have to do that. When we're faced with issues, when we're faced with problems, when we think the world is caving in on us, you know what the best thing to do sometimes is? Just to take a step back into ourselves and find that Almighty within. When you can harness that happiness within through meditation, when you can think of the happiness that you are, when you can think that Lord Shiva dwells within you, you are ready for any challenge thereafter. You see? So we're learning here, my dear brothers and sisters, what happens as a result of being deceived, and how should both parties move forward after deception. You see, Lord Shiva here, we're seeing exactly what he did. He forgave, but what didn't he do? Rule number one, he did not forget. That is rule number one to success in life. Forgive people, but never forget what they did. Okay? Second, when things get too rough in life, when you feel like the world is caving in on you, what should you do? Take a step back and find happiness within you. Because guess what, my dear friends? Happiness is not in any object. If you think happiness is in a BMW, think again. Put somebody to drive 15 hours in a BMW, see what he said 15 hours later. He is not happy. No object in the world will bring us happiness. What brings us ultimate happiness is if we can find that Shiva within. As a matter of fact, we do every single thing in our life only to discover that the true happiness is within me and me alone. When I am at peace, when I have found the Lord within me, when I am happy, guess what I become? A more efficient servant of the Lord, and the best actually citizen of the world. You see? So if peace starts within you, if happiness starts within you, you become a great person of inspiration, of determination, of courage in the world. Imagine if everybody in this world was like that. What kind of world we were living today? You see? Right. So Shankara Sahaja Sarupa Samhara Lagi Samadhi Akhanda Para. Now let's go into this board. Brand new Gemara, right? Repeat after me. Actually, let's go word by word first, and then you'll repeat after me, okay? Sati, Basahi, Kailas, Taba, Adhik, Sochu, Mana, Mahi. Sati is who? Sati, isn't that right? Basahi means to dwell. Kailas means Mount Kailas. Taba, then. Adhik, more. Sochu, Mana, Mahi. There was more sadness in her mind. Okay? Maramu, Na, Kou, Jana, Kachu, Juga, Sama, Devasa, Sirahi. No one knew of her secret. Maramu means secret. Na means no. Koi means anyone. Jan means to know. Kachu means to do, which is to know. Juga means ages. Jug Jug Jio, our great grandparents tell us is not true. Sama means the same. Divas means day. And Sirahi means seemed. So, what do we see here? No one knew of the secret that Sati was holding. And as a matter of fact, what did each day seem like? It seemed like an age. You know there are how many ages? How many ages are there? 4 ages. Can you tell me the ages? Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. Imagine for Sati, because she held this thing inside of her heart, because she felt so guilty as a result of deceiving her Lord. How did she feel? That every day seemed like a age. Okay? Before we get into it, let's chant it. Sati basahi kailash tava. You understand? Sati basahi kailash और अधिक सोचो मन माही अधिक सोचो मन माही मन मुन को जान कछो जुग सम दिवस सिराही Very good. Perfect chanting. You guys are getting better as the weeks go on, you know. Give yourself a round of applause. All of you, stop yourself. Sati vasahi kailash tava. This means Sati was where? This whole time? Kailash. Adhika sochu manamahi. What was she feeling in her mind? Sadness. Why? Because she lied to her. She deceived her husband, Guru, and God. Lord Shiva to Sati is 3 in 1. You know when you go to a store called deals the wrong way? Just get 3 in 1, right? Lord Shiva is 3 in 1 for Sati. Not only did she lie to her husband, but she lied to her Guru and she lied to her Lord. But you know the best thing about Guru and Lord? Maybe husband is kind of omitted from this. But you know the best thing about Guru and God? They know you inside out. We can fool people in this world. But guess who you can't fool one bit? God and Guru. Marumuna ko jana kachu. No one knew her secret. Okay? No mortal being knew her secret. Yoga Samadivasa Sirahi. And as a result of this, what she did, each day seemed like a. And did this ever happen to you? Okay, maybe not you, but me. When I was little, I used to tell little white lies. It doesn't matter if the lie white, black, green, whatever. A lie is a lie. Okay? And sometimes you realize that late. But when I was 5 years old, I used to tell little white lies. Right? You grow up thinking that's okay, but it's not okay. When I used to tell those little lies, you know what each day used to seem like? So long. You know why? Because you're frightened to go home. You know your parents are waiting for you because they know the truth. Just like Lord Shiva. So each day seemed like a age to her because she knew that her husband knew her secret. Isn't that right? When you're in the company of someone who you've deceived, and especially if that person knows the truth now, and you alone there with that person, how you feel, buddy? You feel for let the earth open up already and you swallow it and run. That's how you feel. It's the fact of the matter. So each day for Sati seemed like a whole age. And then what happened after that subsequently? Lord Shiva, Tulsidas Shiva, ends in this beautiful verse. Flow. Everyone. कब जय देव भूखर सागर पार मैं जो की रघुपति अपमान मैं जो मैं जो की रघुपति अपमान मैं जो की पुनीत बच्चन पुनीपति बच्चन सोमल भोगी सोमल भोगी जो कछु चित सोई अब विधि उस बुझिया नहीं तो अब विधि उस अब विधि अस बुझिया नहीं कोई शंकर विभु के जिया बसी होगी शंकर विभु के जिया श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम. Very good. Now let's go through it, okay? Nit nav sochu sati urabhara. Say these words after me, everyone. Nit. Nit means every day, eternal as a matter of fact. Nava. Okay, repeat after me, okay? Nava. Nu. Okay? Sochu. Sadness. Sati. Means sati. Satina. Urabhara means full. So what do you think that sentence is saying if you put it together? Every day seemed like a eternity, like new sadnesses were creeping up on top of the old one. This is what happens to us. When the problem is not resolved, my dear brothers and sisters, this is what this line means. As a result of not solving your problems, guess what? Every day seems like eternity. And when you finally wake out of that day now, what is it like? It's like a new problem has come out of that one. Isn't that right? Yeah. You feel like that. It actually gets deeper and deeper within you, making you more and more anxious, agitated, and upset. Okay? Kaba. This is now Sati speaking now. Kaba. Jai Hiu. Jai Hau actually. Dukha. Sagar. Para. What is Sati saying here? When will I be able to cross this ocean of sadness? This is the question we ask ourselves. Isn't that true? When we get into trouble, we're asking ourselves every day, when will I be able to cross over this problem? Okay, this is exactly what goes on in our minds. Main jo keenha raghupati apamana. What is she saying here? Main jo keenha. What I have done, raghupati apamana. I have deceived. I have actually, what is the word? I've actually kind of tricked or tried to deceive or try to pull a fast one on my Lord Raghupati first. So now who is she actually having faith in? Again, Lord Rama. You see, after the damage is done, what is she doing now? She is trying to fix it by having faith in God. You see, what is the rule here? What is Tulsidas trying to get at here? The way to fix a problem is by admitting you first have a problem to begin with. You see, by Sati saying this, "Main jo keen hai Raghupati apamana," what she is saying here is she has admitted that she has error. You see, but how many of us, when we deceive, or how many of us, when we cause mischief, or how many of us, when we do something wrong, no matter how little it is, how many of us are willing to admit we have done that wrong thing? Yeah? All throughout my youth, I heard other people saying this term, wrong and strong. The person is wrong, but he continues to be adamant, thinking what he did, there's no offense there. But Sati, being a true person, is telling us today that it's okay to err. Because you're a human being, because we're human, we err. But what is it that we should do upon error?
Admit.
Just admit or acknowledge that you erred or did a mistake. You see? So, मैं जो कीन रघुपति अपमाना पुनि पति वचनु मृषा करी जाना. And what did she do? She also thought her husband's word to be untrue. So there Sati is admitting her problem, admitting her mistake. This is the first step to overcoming a wrong that you have done. So you see here the beauty of Tulsidas, my dear brothers and sisters. He is telling us how to live on both sides of the coin. He is telling us to live a life like you've been deceived and telling us how to get out of it when you have deceived. In the beginning, how did we pull away from being deceived? How did we recover from being deceived? Do you remember? What did Lord Shiva do? He kept that person at a distance and he found recovery where? Within himself. He sat back for a moment and said, wait a minute, why am I letting this bother me? Let me focus on the happiness that's within me, the Lord within me. And then what is he saying? The person that has done the deceiving should do. He is saying the first thing that person should do is realize the mistake that he or she made. You see? Nityanava sochu sati urabhara kab jehu dukha sagara para. How do I cross over this ocean? I do the first thing necessary. Main jo keen hai Raghupati apamana. I realize that I tried to trick my Lord. And also, puni pati vachanu mrisha kari jana. And then I thought to myself that my husband's words were untrue. The first step is realizing your mistake. So phalu mohi. Say so. Phalu mohi vidhata dinha. Can you say those couple of words for me alone? So means that. Phalu means karma phala or the results of action. Mohi means me. Vidhata means the Lord. And then dinha means given. I have been given by my Lord the results of my sins. You see? This goes to tell us, my dear brothers and sisters, that it doesn't matter what you do in life, there is a Lord out there who will give the fruits of people's actions. Some people think I'll do wrong thing and nobody saw me. I did it alone. Nobody was there. But guess who is always there? Bhagavan. As a matter of fact, Bhagavan has 3 names. Can you say these 3 names to me? Omniscient, omnipotent, And what's the other one? Omnipresent. You see, that's the last one. The Lord knows all. He's omniscient, omnipotent. He can do anything. And most importantly, he is omnipresent. He is everywhere. So Sati is saying, So Phalu Mohi Vidhata Dinha. That Lord, knowing my sins, I can't hide that from him. His job is to give the results of those actions. And what is the result of those actions, my dear brothers and sisters? According to Sati, feeling this sadness, feeling that every day is long, asking when I can cross over this ocean of sadness. Does any of us want to feel like that? Do you know what it is to feel that way? Have you ever been in that position? Raise your hand. Okay, you must be frightened for raising your hand. Well, no, not the raising hand. Be honest with me. Me not the raising hand. When you're in that position, that is the most horrible feeling. It's like you're waiting for you to wake out of this dream. As a matter of fact, you pinch yourself steady like this. Wake up, wake up. That's what you're doing. Because you want to get out of that. And you know what the sad thing is, my dear brothers and sisters? Some people even resort to taking their own lives. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter where you've been. You must realize, my dear brothers and sisters, that even the Lord giving you the punishment that you deserve is there. That Lord is also compassionate. That's why He's giving you a new day to turn a new leaf. Just like any compassionate mother. You do something wrong to your mother. She may be upset for that moment, but the next day, do you think she can be upset with you? As a matter of fact, her love will prevail, pulling you out of whatever distress you may have. You see? So phalu mohi vidhata dinha. Say these words to me. Jo kachu uchit raha soi kinha. Can you say those words to me again? Jo means that or him. Kachu means to do. Uchita means fitting. That means what is meant to be. Very good word. Raha soi kinha. And you can bet your bottom dollar that whatever the Lord has given you, you have deserved. You see, in life, my dear brothers and sisters, according to the rule of karma, we may have done something very wrong in a previous birth with no recollection, and then in this birth we are suffering as a result. But what is the key? We must continue to do good in the face of any punishment we may be going through. Because you know why? When you do good things, even though you are quote unquote punishing, guess what you're doing? You're setting yourself up for a brilliant future. Right? So the person who is suffering, there's no point in that person doing bad as a result of bad coming to him. What should he do? Remember his Lord and move forward always. Very good. So phalu mohi vidhata dinha jo kachu uchit raha soi kinha. And that Lord knows best. He knows what we need when we need it, whether good or bad. Say these words after me again. Abba, vidhi, asa, bhujiya, bhujiya, nahi, tohi. Say those words for me again. Abba vidhi asa bhujiya nahi tohi. Abba means now, vidhi means a way of doing, asa means actually this moment, bhujai means preserve, nahi tohi. What this line is saying is, it is not right for you to continue to do what? Preserve my life. You see what Sati is doing right now? This is the most misinterpreted line in the whole Ramayana. Sati doesn't mean take away my life. Abba vidhi asad bhujiya nahi tahi. right? It is not right, oh Lord, to preserve my life. What she means by this is, it is not right for me to continue to harbor these feelings in my mind. She's not saying take my physical life away. It may seem like she's saying that. But what is she aiming at? What does she become in the next incarnation? The incarnation is the daughter of the mountain. She hopes to change her mind from a mind that is chanchal, a mind that is wavering, a mind that is subject to temptation, to a mind that is mountain-like or stable. You know what Parvati means in Sanskrit? Huh? Parvat asya puman stri. That person who has come from the mountain, or that daughter whose mind is mountain-like. So she went from a stage of being utterly shaky in the mind to a stage where she was mentally stable. You see? So when we see here, Abavidi asa bujiya nahi toi. My right is not to live, O Lord. She is not talking about her life. She is talking about the way she is living. Able to deceive, able to fall to temptation, able for the mind to go here and there. She is hoping for a more stable existence. Shankar Vimukha Jiyavasi Mohi. Say that word for me. Shankar Vimukha Jiyavasi Mohi. Say that word, say those words for me again. Shankar Vimukha. Shankar means Lord Shiva. Vimukha means to be alienated or to be separated. Jiyavasi Mohi. Living like this. How can I live this way? Being alienated from my Lord. You see? What causes us, my dear brothers and sisters, to feel separated from the ones we love? Ask yourself the question. When we are not straightforward with them, when our minds are full of agitation, and you know what is the most important thing? What is the most destructive thing about us that keeps us away from our loved ones? Focusing on our own self-pity. This is the one thing that makes us zero efficient in the world. When every day we wake up, and the first thing when someone asks you how you're doing, you start with your long laundriness of everything that is going wrong. You know, sometimes in some way you really gotta be picky of where you sit down, you know. And then when you sit down because you're weary, you gotta be careful what you say. Don't say how you're doing and what's going on in your life to just anybody. You know what's gonna happen? You can hear one long katama, and that might last till the whole train ride. And then when you finish that train ride, you can want to go home and just sleep because you're depressed from what you hear. You see? So this is what happens in our life, my dear brothers and sisters. The only thing that makes us depressed really and continues our depression, and the only thing that separates us really from everyone, because we cannot even help them or make the situation better, is wallowing in our own self-pity. You know who is the champion? A person whose life, his own life, isn't probably going too well. But instead of worrying and wasting his days in self-pity, you know what he does? He tries to help everybody around him. This person is the Lord's favorite. And as a result, what happens? Shankara Vimukha Jiyavasi Mohi. This never happens. No alienation or no separation from God. You see? So when we are in a problem, number one, we should ask the Lord, pray to the Lord, however, to give us the intellect to be sturdy in the mind. Don't ever again fall prey to deception, or don't ever fall prey to the ability to deceive. And also, we should never keep the Lord far away, or anyone we love far away, by just focusing on our own problems, keeping it to ourselves. As a matter of fact, seek help and try to be a blessing in another person's life. Think about the last time you were in a tough situation. Didn't someone come help you? Huh? Answer the question. Most of the time, that's what happens. But what happens to us when someone else is in trouble? We think twice about helping that person. What we should do when a person is in danger, we should think about the time we were in danger and try our best to be a blessing in that person's life. Like someone else was a blessing in our life at one time together. You see? Then we would never be alienated or separated from God. Next job. कहूँ न जाए कछु हृदय दलानी कहूँ न जाए कछु हृदय दलानी मन मनो समाहि सुबीर सैयानी मन मनो राम ही सुमिर सयानी मन मनो राम ही सुमिर सयानी जो प्रभु दीन दयाल कहा जो प्रभु दीन दयाल कहा आरती हरण वेद जसुदार आरती हरण वेद जसुदार तो नहीं करूं कर जोरी तो मैं नहीं करूं कर जोरी छुटोरेगी देह यह मोरी जो मोरे शिव चरण सुने जो मोरे शिव चरण सुने मन क्रम वचन सत्य प्रभु एवं श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम Next, repeat after me. कही न जाई कछु हृदय गलानी कही means to tell. Na means no. As a matter of fact, repeat these words after me again. Kahi means to tell. Na means no. Jai. Okay, let's skip that word for now. Kachu Kachu means to do. So, kahi na jai kachu. No one knew how to tell. Okay? Jai means to go forward, but it also means to act forward. Okay? Hirdaya galani. No one can tell the sadness or sorrow in the heart of Sati. You see that word, that last word there? You say it? Galani. In Sanskrit, this word is glanir. Say glanir. In that verse, you will all know the verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When do I come into this world? When do I take manifestation? When there is glanir, or there is abundant sadness in the world. Kahi na jai kachu hirdaya galani. No one in the entire universe could tell the sadness that was going on in Sati's mind. Mana mahu rama hi sumera sayani. Can you say those words for me? Mana mahu rama hi sumera sayani. Now say those words by yourself. When no one can tell of the distress that Sati was going through, what is the third thing she did correctly? After she admitted her error, second thing rather, what is the next thing that she did? She continued to Mana Mahu Ramagi Sumira Sayani. She continued to remember her Lord. You see that? She went, look at the evolution of Sati now. Now you have to see the evolution of the person who deceived. You know, there's a very famous saying that I always say in this class. Every saint had a past, and every sinner has a future. Just because you're a bad person now, or you think you're bad, doesn't mean you'll be bad forever. There'll come a time in your life when you're going to say, this bad, this may do this no more. I want to change myself for the better. This is the attitude the person who's done wrong should have. Okay? No one knew besides. What was the first step to recovering from the fault that she did? She used the Valmiki method. All of you know the story of Valmiki. He was a highway robber. He used to kill people on the highway and take what they had. Until one day, Narad Muni gave him a mantra. What was that? Sorry, he didn't give him the mantra. He told him the importance of the name of Ram. But what did Valmiki always used to tell people? Mara, 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 Mara. Mara means to kill. But after repetition of that word, what happened to him? He started calling. Yeah, so he went from Mara, Mara, Mara to what? Rama, Rama, Rama. And then what did that do to his mind? It purified his mind. And then it came to a time where he went from murderer to saint. Actually, the writer, the original writer of the Ramayana. You see? What a transformation. Everyone has the ability, no matter how bad he is, to change. You see? Mana Mahurama Sumira Sayani. Now repeat after me again. No. Here. Mother speaking here. Jo. Prabhu. Deen Dayalu. Kahava. Now, say those words by yourself again. Jo means you. Prabhu means what? Lord. Deena Dayalu means friend of the poor. Deena means a very low person. Dayal means compassionate. Who is the Lord? The one who is compassionate to the fallen. The person who has hit rock bottom, the Lord loves him the most. So next time you feel like you're at your ultimate low in life, understand that he is willing to go 90% to pick you up. All you have to go is how much? 10% of the way. You see? Jo Prabhu Deena Dayala Kahava. What do people call the Lord? According to Sati? Dina Dayala. Then what happens as a result? Arati. Repeat after me. Arati. Harana. Veda. Jasu. Gava. Everyone says, my Lord, you are the friend of the compassionate. You are the friend of the poor. You are compassionate to people like me. People like who are the sinners of the world. You are compassionate towards us. As a matter of fact, you pull us out of the gutter we're in. What else do they say that you do? Arati. Arati means sadness. Here, Arati doesn't mean this. This is an Arati. This is Arati in a different language, as a matter of fact. In Audi, Arati means artha or sadness. Okay? In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that 4 people come to the Lord. One of them is the Arthanti, or the person who is full of sorrow. Arati means tremendous sadness. What does the Lord do? Harana, say that word for me. Means to take away. Isn't that true? Lord Shiva, what did you say last night? Hara Hara Mahadev, isn't that true? That Hara is this. Haran. Haran means to take away or steal. What is the Lord stealing from us? Our sadness, our arati. Veda Jasugaha. The ability for the Lord to take away our sadness is sung all over the Vedas or our scriptures. You see? So again, it is up to us if we want to be Sati, or it's up to us if we want to be Parvati. What is the difference between the two? Sati was very fickle-minded. Her mind was easily swept away into the world. Isn't that true? And she wanted to test the words of her husband. As a matter of fact, she deceived him. Parvati is mentally strong, stable like a rock. As a matter of fact, such a person alone is successful in the world. How do we get to that stage, my dear brothers and sisters? We pray, we associate with good people, and we try our best to never deceive others. You see, Jo Prabhu Deena Dayalu Kahava, you are called Deena Dayalu. You are called the person who helps the unfortunate like me. Arati Harana Veda Jasudhava. And what do you do for everyone? You take away your sadness. So Lord, take away my sadness as well. Repeat after me. To Mai Vinay Karau Kar Jori. Repeat those words with me. Satima is speaking here. What is she saying? To. To means you. Mai means me. Vinay. How many of you knows my name Vinay? Raise your hand. No? Nobody? One of my best friends' name is Vinay. You know what that means? Humble. Very humble. I come to you in very humble form. Karau means to do. Kara means hands. Jori. Haath jora virti karu. What did she do? She went in supreme humility now to her Lord that she was trying to test in the beginning. And what did she say? To me vinay karu kare jori, my Lord. I've come in front of you for you to protect me, for you to give me the wisdom never to be that way again, for you to take away my sadness and make me one again with my husband. Right? Lord Shiva, isn't that right? Chutahu Vegi Deha Yaha Mori. Repeat those words for me again. Chutahu means to be destroyed or to be left, okay? Vegi, sadness or unhappiness. Deha, body. Yaha, this. Mori, mind. What is she asking the Lord to do? Again, take away the body of deception from my mind. Take away the ability to be very fickle-minded. Take away this bad habit of mine to deceive. And instead, make me very truthful and very sturdy in my mind. those of you who are young and those of you who are in college and high school, the only thing that will save you in this world is being stable in the mind. The moment your mind is here, there, and everywhere, and you deceive somebody one time, that is the day you are going down. When you can keep a stable mind no matter what is going on, see every situation in equal vision, and continue to move up in life, you are considered then and then alone to be successful. Do you understand? Especially younger people here. Never be wishy-washy in the mind. Always have a stable mind and keep your sights high with no deception in mind. You understand that? Good. Okay? तो मैं विनय करो कर जोरी छूटाऊ बेगी देह यह मोरी. I hope one day that this can be written from my life. जो मोरे शिव चरण सनेऊ. Say जो. मोरे शिव चरण सनेऊ. Now say those words again for me. Jo means that Lord, More means mine, Shiva means Shiva, Charana means what? Feet, Sanehu means deep love. If I consider myself to love the feet of Shiva like I do, Mana, say Mana, Krama, Vachana, Satya, Vratu, Ehu. Say those words for me. If I consider myself to love my Lord, what do I promise from this day going forward? Mana means the mind. Krama means action. Vachana means words. Satya, Vratu, Ehu is my duty as Lord Shiva's wife to be truthful from this day. You see? So do you see the evolution of Sati? She went from deceiving the Lord to realizing her error and moving forward in the way she should move forward. Truth is not only in words, my dear brothers and sisters. If we only entertain a lie in our mind, that is even worse than carrying the lie out. If we entertain some bad thought, that is worse than carrying that action out. Just like diseases, right? If you have a skin disease, we put some cortisone and the skin disease gone, right? But if you have a mental disease now, can you rub cortisone on that? No. The more subtle or the more deeper the problem within you is, the more hard it is to remove. You can remove an itch, but you cannot remove a bad habit so easy. You see? Mana, krama, vachana. Even in my thoughts, mind, mana, krama, in my actions and words, what do I promise from this day going forward? Because I love my significant other, which Lord, she's talking about Lord Shiva, I promise to be truthful. She has made the turn. What happens after this, we will see in the next class. Okay? So my dear brothers and sisters, what I want you to realize is, when you are deceived, you should act a certain way. Everybody paying attention here? Yes. When you are deceived, you must act a certain way. And we saw that in the opening Chaupai tonight. When you have done the deceiving, you should also act in a certain way. So we looked at that tonight. Okay? How to recover from deception and how to, right, help ourselves out of the sorrows that come from deceiving another person. Understand? Okay, so it's 8:15. I think we have 15 more minutes to see at least one of the children or two of them, because they will be presenting on ITV or something.